good? It's your girl Desiree Taylor again. And welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, you are definitely not here by mistake. Okay, I miss y'all. And also for the new people, welcome, welcome, welcome. Listen, I wanted to share some reflections with y'all about grad school. To say the least, it's a little ghetto. But I'm really, really glad that, for first of all, that the Lord placed it on my heart to even go to grad school. And I just thank God for the fact that He really meant what He said, where He was like, I will finish the good work that I started in you. Because baby, I wouldn't have finished. I would have quit not even midway first semester. Okay, but I just wanted to share briefly on how I even got to getting my master's, or how I even came about wanting to be interested in going back to school, get my graduate degree or my master's or whatnot. So yeah, and to tell y'all what my journey is right now. So for those of you who don't know, I just received my master's in marriage and family counseling here in New Jersey. And when I tell you, my program was immaculate, okay? Immaculate. But I wanted to go back real quick and just share the testimony because God is faithful. So I think 2 or 3 years ago, way before I had moved to New Jersey, there was a lady that I went to church with who shared with me a prophetic word about me going back to school. Now, she didn't say anything about counseling, but when she said school, I just automatically knew what she was talking about, because nobody knows this, but when I was a little girl, I always said that I wanted to be a singer and I wanted to be a therapist of some sort. You know how like kids just be saying stuff and they be forgetting. Clearly God didn't. So I was apparently being prophetic, in my early years. And counseling and therapy, that was just something that always stuck with me. In undergrad, I pursued it when I went to Eastern Michigan University. But I was just all over the place. Like, I was not surrendered to the Lord at all. Like, I was a Christian, but like it was giving like, it wasn't even giving lukewarm. It was giving like cold. I was a very cold Christian, and so I would like be in psychology classes, and I was a social work major and a psychology major and a music major all in one. Like I just was doing way too much, and so obviously I ended up not graduating with a social work degree. I picked communications as my degree, even though I did not know how to even communicate at the time. I chose that major because that allowed me to graduate sooner, because I didn't really care for the environment that I was in. And then I joined the army, and then I met the Lord, surrendered my life, and then boom, fast forward fast forward like what, I don't know, a couple more years. So I graduated with my undergrad or my bachelor's degree in 2019. And I moved to, so I graduated with my bachelor's in April 2019. I got the prophetic word about me going back to school in July of 2022. And then I moved to New Jersey, and I would say, no, I didn't even move to New Jersey. I was still living with a friend in the Bronx, but I started going to school that was in New Jersey in August of 2023, right? And oddly enough, this school found me. Like, I was looking at other schools, to be honest with you. And what sparked it was the fact that I was talking to a few young ladies who happened to be students, and at a college or whatnot. And I was like, I at that point I had completely forgot about the prophetic word. But God has a funny way of bringing things to your remembrance because he know I be forgetting. Okay. But he brought that into my remembrance by just simply having a conversation with some young ladies. And I was like, maybe I should ask the Lord about school. And it's like once I asked God about school, he just pressed it on my heart. He was like, you need to apply to school right now. And I'm like, okay, what's the urgency? Clearly he was like, you need to be in school. And now that I look over my life in the past few years, it makes sense. Like it's that type of feeling where it was just like, if I don't at least do my research about schools, I'm gonna miss something. Like that's what I mean by like that godly, like righteous urgency. Like I needed to do it right now. So yeah, I applied to schools. The school that I ended up graduating from, it was a piece of cake. I got my recommendations in. It was like it was so much peace in it. Now obviously I went through some trials and tribulations during the process, but it was just so much peace, like at least applying to it because I had some really good recommendations. Once I got in the program, it definitely wasn't in person. So even though I had been living in the Bronx for some time, I was attending my classes virtual. It was hard because, for one, I started without a laptop at all. I did not have a laptop. Technically speaking, I was homeless when I started grad school. And, I was living with a friend who had a toddler at the time. And it's not easy attending to a toddler and going to school. So, for all you mothers and fathers out there going to school with little babies, shout out to y'all. Like, you are the true MVPs because I couldn't have done it. But eventually, about a year later, I was able to find a place in New Jersey, which is where I'm in now. And then I started my internship. But before I get into that, my professors were, obviously people of color, and I went to a Christian school as well. And when I tell you, the program, the teaching was just absolutely immaculate. They were just very, very understanding, very loving, very kind. And I realized too in my graduate program that I thrive in small class settings, whether it's if it's virtual or in person. I just can't do the big classroom. Like I need to make sure that I know the professor and that the professor knows me. Okay. And if I so happen to be in a big environment, best believe I'm coming to your office hours. Okay. Because you're gonna help me, because I can't get below a B. But yeah, it was definitely difficult. I really struggled with like keeping up with the homework. It was a lot of reading, a lot of reading. Like, I still am trying to read and review the stuff that we learned in our classes because, I have to take the National Counselor exam pretty soon. And so I don't know. The mind can only retain so much, but just know it was difficult for me because, growing up I struggled with comprehension and writing. Crazy, right? Because I got a whole book and, yeah. But I really struggled with that. But the professors worked with me. Like, I was not silent. I told them, hey, this is a struggle. If I needed more time on tests or if I needed more time to turn in like a writing assignment, whatnot, all I had to do was communicate effectively, and they had my back. They really did. And it was clutch that it was virtual. I think it was like synchronous. So where you still have to check in on Zoom or on the class thing or whatever platform that they use to virtually for you to virtually see the classmates and or your cohort and the professor. And so but it was like after you check in, you do your homework at your own pace, and you have deadlines, and that was it. It was an accelerated program. Well, they said it was accelerated, but I needed more so of accelerate slower, because it was too fast. Like my program, the way it was built, it was like 2 classes for 8 weeks. And I'm like, so y'all want us to read all this material in this short amount of time? Unrealistic. But I digress. But anywho, I got it done. I did what I had to do. One thing about me is like when I'm intentional about something, the work is getting done. You ain't got to tell me once or twice. The work is getting done. So fast forward. I didn't graduate until basically like December, well, this month, December 2025, but we had our graduation ceremony back in May of 2025, and they said because I only had 2 classes left, which was the internship, they let me walk. And prior to me walking, I got like a random email basically saying that I got an award for my program. I'm actually gonna show y'all. Come with me with my new camera. Hey y'all. So I got an award. It's probably gonna expose the college I went to, but who cares? I don't go there anymore. Yeah, I got an award. Whoop, can y'all see it? Come on, zoom. I don't know, but it basically says Masters in Counseling, a Department Award. Desiree Taylor hereby awarded this certificate of excellence for embodying the values of the Masters in Counseling Department with the recommendation and approval of the faculty of such and such college, given May 15th, 2025. And so yeah, they sent me an email saying like, you've been nominated for an award for your program. And I'm like, I didn't apply for anything, so I don't know. I don't know where this is coming from, but essentially I got nominated and I won, and glory be to God. Like I was shocked because I didn't consider myself to be the smartest in my cohort. I was actually the youngest in my cohort, and I was the only African American woman in my cohort as well. I was just shocked, but like I said, glory be to God. It just showed me that he didn't need me to be perfect. He didn't need me to be the smartest in the class or the smartest in the room. He just needed me to be obedient. And I rock with that. That's why I rock with the Lord. You feel me? I rock with Jesus. Like he literally like put it on my heart to be in at this college and in this particular program, and it truly cultivated me. I learned so much about the real aspects of what counseling really is. Like it's not about really giving advice, even though you can do that, but it taught me how to be a great listener. Like this program taught me how to be disciplined. Okay, it taught me to have better time management skills. You would have thought I had that in undergrad. No. It taught me to speak up. It taught me how to be better prepared, because we had presentations. And best believe, if you didn't practice what you studied, it showed. It showed me how to prepare. It taught me how to really respect my own time and respect other people's time. It taught me to really be intentional, and the reward for being intentional with your work and just being attentive to whatever the professor is teaching you. It taught me that like the program that I was in is of value, and to continue to cherish the knowledge and the resources that they freely gave me. Well, not freely, because school is not free. But you know what I'm saying? Like, seeming that, I had to, get loans and stuff. Like, girl, if you're paying for it, you better get every ounce of every resource, every service that they provide for you at that college. And one thing about me, I sure did. I also want to give a quick shout out to the Army. I'm no longer in the Army anymore, but yeah, I want to give a shout out to the Army Reserves, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have been able to afford going to college, because grad school, you don't get a lot of scholarships for it. But if you are in the military, or if you have any grants that you've applied for, you can use those. And thankfully my school had something for veterans and military, like soldiers. So I was favored in that aspect, because I know some people like, how did you afford grad school? I didn't. God did, though. Period. So yeah, I was definitely grateful for that, but it just taught me a lot, and it taught me how to be a respectful person. It taught me how to be a leader under control, because I've been in some projects where people was not pulling their weight. And baby, one thing about me, I be tight when you be messing with my grades. Okay. But I had to learn to really advocate for myself. I had to learn to check people respectfully, regardless of how old they was, how long they been doing X, Y, and Z. Like, it really taught me how to like really advocate for myself without being rude, but being stern and being firm and 10 toes down in what I believe. Like, it just taught me so much. And most importantly, like, reading all of the material about like all the different diagnoses. I ain't gonna lie, as a counselor, it's so quick to look at other people and be like, oh yeah, she got the depressive mood disorder, or she got this, or they got schizophrenia. But when you look at that text and all those symptoms, and you start looking at your life, you're like, am I okay? Like, like, it took everything out of me not to like mess around and diagnose myself. I don't know if any other counselors had this problem, but I almost had a meltdown. Like, I literally almost crashed out, because I'm like, I got like 5 disorders. But God was like, girl, clock it. Like, get that out your system. Just ask me and I'll let you know. But it definitely taught me that like the diagnosis isn't to define you, but it's to really get to the root of the issue, so you can have a specific treatment plan. Because there's a lot of people whose mental health goes unnoticed and obviously undiagnosed properly, because we have a lot of people that just care about, oh, you anxious, all right, let me give you some medicine for anxiety. Hold on. Like, did you ask questions? Like, did you ask what made them nervous, like, or made them anxious or something? No, like, it really has inspired me to want to be more compassionate and to be more understanding to people who have been scarred by counseling and therapy, or who have a bad perception of therapy. My culture, or my family, they didn't grow up on therapy. That wasn't, mental health was not a thing. Nowadays, some people use like, mental health days and stuff as a crutch. I'm like, baby, you don't need no mental health day. You got drunk the night before and you just need a day to sleep in. But that's not everybody. That's not y'all. Y'all want to do that. But, but on the flip side of it, some people do need a mental health day, because a lot happens in our life, and a lot of the older generations, they've been taught to just push through and go to work anyway, cry in the bathroom and come right back. Like, what? And so it really has broadened my perspective. And as you can see, and I don't know if y'all can see my vision board. Hold on, let me use the, yeah, look at y'all, see that? Y'all can't see it. But I did a vision board, obviously earlier this year. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yo, I don't know how to use this camera, but my bad, my bad. Um, anyway, I made a vision board earlier this year, and my motto for this year was to be kind to my mind, and I'll testify that about that at a later time because baby, boy, I needed it this year. But I wrote that motto because even though I was reading and learning about how to help others care about their mind and their mental health and all the things, I realized I wasn't doing that for myself in a lot of different ways. And like I said, I'll share that in a different video, but um, being reminded of that as a upcoming counselor is so important because you can preach and counsel and give advice and pour into so many different clients, but if you neglect yourself, if you don't allow yourself to be a client, you will not be as proficient as you need to be, you know. In my internship, y'all, immaculate. My supervisor, immaculate. I actually am an intern at a black owned Christian practice, which I'll leave unnamed, unless the Lord leads me to reveal it. But amazing group of men and women who are licensed therapists, and they have taught me so much. Like, I feel like I hit the jackpot with them. I found them on Therapy for Black Girls. So if you are in a social work program or counseling program, psychology, whatever, and you looking for an internship, look there. Okay, and email everybody and their mama. You may get 50 no's like I did. It was very discouraging at first, but when I tell you, God really came through with my internship practice. Like, I'm so grateful. Oh my God, and it opened a door to the job that I work at now. On top of getting ready to study and hopefully become licensed as a counselor next year. So it listen, obedience is better than sacrifice, and also like waiting well works because everybody in my cohort, they had their internships, they had their internships done before I did, but unfortunately because I just wasn't able to accumulate that amount of hours at the time frame that my school was wanting us to finish our hours in. On top of that, my father passed away this past summer, and so my mental health was just not the best. If I'm being honest with you, I had to take a break, but best believe God was like, "Okay, it's your time to get back at it." And by the grace of God, I finished my internship hours in November, got my degree in December 2025. Listen, God's timing, trust his timing, like yield to his timing for sure. Because at the end, it don't matter how you gonna finish, just know you gonna finish. And so, yeah, that's my counseling journey. We're just in the in between of like licensure, so I can become a LAC, a licensed associate counselor. Still would be going under supervision, of course, for a few years. But yeah, I God is amazing, bro. Oh, he's so amazing. So amazing. And he made the 10-year-old Desiree's dream come true. Like, it's amazing how God is using me to make an impact on people's lives through this profession. Like, I never would have guessed it. Um, Not over here in this region. So yeah, I'm excited for my next chapter after grad school, post grad school, and I just give all the glory, praise to God for just getting me through that program. And so whoever is in that same boat, like if you're interested in wanting to become a counselor or a therapist, drop it in the comments of like any content you would want to see, as far as like, the things or the tips that I have used and came up with as I've been going through my internship process and going through the program. That could be like separate videos if you guys want me to talk more about that. I definitely don't mind. But yeah, just wanted to give y'all some reflections on just what I've been through and taking the time again to celebrate myself. Like, I am really done with school, bro. Now don't ask me when I'm getting my doctorate. Pause. Okay? I just got my master's. Don't come to me about no doctorate degree, baby. Like, even though I'm glad that I got through my graduate program, I need a well taken break, okay? Well taken. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, love y'all. Let me know if y'all want some more content regarding my counseling journey. I love you guys. See y'all in the next video. Bye.
So all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. Your goodness is running after me. Your goodness is running after me. When my life